verify that the date and search results appear accurate, so you're ahead of me on that one. So again, just run through, make sure the data is what you're looking for. Again, when you're doing this manually, you got to click on the links one at a time, copy them into a spreadsheet, and then kind of go from there. For Twitter, not a lot of really good sources for Twitter data. iTrocket's the best one. Topsy is too. Again, Twitter data is easier to copy and paste into a spreadsheet, but you have limited access. I think even iTrocket only gives you the last 24 hours. Topsy's probably going to be your best bet to get some longer-term Twitter data. You almost have to have access to a tool to get good Twitter data. All right, so we're going to kind of zip through some of these findings here. I wouldn't focus on the findings as much as just what type of chart you can do. But I'll start with a few quick key findings here. A couple of the big things I noticed, and I'll just highlight 2 or 3 of these. WNKU is getting more positive than negative buzz, so that's really good. Just preliminary finding. You might find the exact opposite. Surprisingly, WNKU's influence extends beyond Cincinnati. Thought that was kind of interesting. Found a blogger in Texas talking about it, so that's really good to know. Men, from what I can see, tend to discuss in WNKU more than women. Not saying you'll find the same thing. I will say one thing though. I did notice more of the Twitter users for women, so I thought that was kind of interesting. It was actually, I didn't go through and do a rough count, but once I kind of picked up on that, I went out to Twitter and looked through some of the Twitter feeds. It seemed like it was at least a 50-50 split. So I would say for Twitter, women might be a better, more women may talk about it on Twitter, but in general, I saw more men talking about it. Some listeners like the ability to download or stream, so that's kind of important. Not a lot of acknowledgement about WNKU being affiliated with NPR, so definitely an opportunity. Word clouds. Anybody seen a word cloud before? Okay. What I did is I took all that data in column C on the spreadsheet, so all of the messages. I just copied it. You can go out to a site like wordle.net. I think it was down, so I went to worditout.com. However, I have a link here of all kinds of word clouds on this blog link down here. You can pick whichever one you want. They all do about the same thing. So you just paste all of your messages, so all the messages that you scored, just paste them. It'll take about 2 seconds, and it'll pop out this nice little word cloud. And what this does just gives you a real quick, high-level, qualitative view about what people are talking about. So again, when people talk about WNKU, a lot of times we're mentioning the local music scene. So Southgate House sort of came up there, jazz, blues. Those are big music interests that people talk about. There's a singer, Gabby Moreno. I think she was in an interview. So a lot of people are talking about featured artists that appear in studio. The ability to podcast is definitely a big one. So taking advantage of iTunes and other outlets is huge for WNKU to help sort of grow. So those are the big things. Again, real quick way to get a real high level analysis, and they're kind of creative. They stand out. They're kind of poppy. I think if you compare the slide to the last 4 or 5 I showed you, this one here definitely comes at you a little bit more. So trending analysis again. If I was at Nielsen, this chart gets done in about 2 minutes, and then I just go and I click on this, and this, and read through the messages and see what's causing the spikes. A little different here. I put it in a spreadsheet. Basically, all I did was just copy these dates here, and then I just counted them up. I just categorized them by month. So I found 10 messages here in August, 4 from May, 5 from March, and then so I had 21 messages. I did not include Twitter because all the Twitter ones within the past 24 hours, and they would have probably skewed that August data. I would have had an extra 10 messages there that frankly I couldn't have counted for these months, so it didn't make a lot of sense to put it in. So, but with the data set that I looked at, I tried to put through the best trend that I could find. If you had a competitor, you could put a competitor benchmark in there as well and have two trends, one for a competitor, one for WNKU. So, I'll get into some other things we got about 5 or 6 minutes here. So again, word clouds or trend lines are really cool, kind of giving out about which way buzz is going, and not only which way, why, what are people talking about. Again, the Michael Bird being released, that kind of was the big thing that I saw, especially as of late. Sentiment. So sentiment's really cool, get an idea of people talking more positively or negatively. again, great positive here is more positive buzz. The mix definitely comes from concerns about budget cuts affecting the quality of programming. Again, topical analysis. So one of the things here is I ran through the topic, and then you can sort. So when you go into Excel, you can sort on the topic. So again, when I showed you guys that topic breakout, W and KU, some of the shows here. So I was able to go into over in this category and then just sort by it, and then you can go over and get the go over and see how many positive messages and negative and mixed two neutral messages there. So you can kind of get an idea about, you know, how many people are talking. And since my sample, it's 2 messages, but my sample size is only 30, so 2 divided by 30. So 7% of my topic analysis buzz was Studio 89, and of that, it was neutral. So you can kind of break out that topical discussion. Again, the big thing was the quality of programming. Again, a lot more mixed, and you're able to take verbatim comments and really try to emphasize some of the positive and the negative. And I think this one at the bottom verbatim probably hits the nail on on the head there. Another cool thing, you can run through your top sites. Again, Cincinnati.com was kind of a big one. A lot of it was because of the comments that you got by Paul Doherty and some other people commenting. And then I was able to go out to a couple different sites and see if I could find some website traffic for some of the sites. You can get a lot of that data out on sites like quantcast.com. Compete.com is good in some cases. So if you can't find data, because some sites are just too small, I just put not applicable. So definitely one of the most unique features. Again, a lot of this website traffic data, you can get it for free. Alexa.com is good, Quantcast is good. I've got some of the URLs down there. Gender analysis, this here's a really great one. If you're doing a traditional market research study, you can easily just ask somebody. A little more difficult to get if you have to go and look at their profile, but it is possible. So again, I was able to kind of run through and say, you know, it seems like a lot more men are talking about it, but as I mentioned earlier, I did find that of the women talking, they seem to be pretty prominent on Twitter. I just couldn't get a lot of Twitter data, but does anybody have any questions about anything so far? All right, so we'll just follow up. These are some of the recommendations I had. I'm not going to go into them too much because I really don't want to taint anybody's mind with anything based off a small sample size, but this is probably the idea of how a project would go. You would have, you know, your key findings up front, your data, and then some recommendations at the back based on what you saw with the data. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Did anybody have any questions or anything?